Listen, I'm not here to tell you to go to audible.com or go to audibletrial.com/bonfireside chat. You do whatever the bug inside your head tells you to do. Don't do another thing other than that. But if the bug in your head happens to tell you to go to audibletrial.com/bonfireside chat, you better do it.
Some of our landings were desperate adventures. We are now prepared to meet the inevitable counterattacks with power and with confidence.
My name is Gary Butterfield.
My name is Kole Ross.
And you're listening to Bonfireside Chat. It is a darkened favorite.
And today we are continuing.
Darkened favorite.
Yeah, like, darkened peppercorn King's View.
Yeah, darkened peppercorn.
With our Jack Daniels sauce and potato slammers.
Slamming fajita garbage bag full of ranch crunchers.
Yeah. Oh, meter lawn margs. Just a little bit more than yard margs.
Yes, it's a Souls game buffet.
I guess. Oh, God, I went to a Chinese buffet a week ago. It was the grossest thing.
Yeah, I used to be able to do those, and now... No. You know what? I'll do I can't remember. I don't think you're a sushi man, but I'll do a sushi go-round, which is a buffet-style eating experience. But that's really all I'll do for a buffet.
So, like a sushi go-round, you can sit towards the head of it, and like you're not going to get like the combined miasma of everybody who's like just like milling around and sneezing into everything.
Yeah.
Like at a Chinese buffet, you're just kind of like fishing chicken bits out of sneeze water.
Yeah, yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
that's true. Deep fried orange chicken bits, though.
Yeah. I'm more of a General Tso's kind of guy, but that's
General Tso does good work. Like I'm with you there.
Yeah. But you know who else does good work? From Software.
Yeah, from Software.
Yeah, General From. Yeah, cousin
to
Ethan.
General From. Yeah,
but
we're talking about Kingsfield 4,
the ancient city. If you haven't gathered that.
Yep. So we're continuing. This is part 2. Mm-hmm. Previously, we worked our way through the cursed lands outside the city, and we killed a giant spider and some big ass stone guardians, and now we're into the city proper.
Yeah.
So if you start playing the ancient city, and when are they going to get to the city?
We're at the fireworks factory. Don't worry.
Yeah, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory?
Yeah.
This is when we get to the city itself.
Yep. And if this is your first episode and you search for Dark Souls on iTunes or whatever, you're like, when are they going to get to Dark Souls? We have all that before. This is our Origins session as we are biding time before Dark Souls 2, which is like less than 2 weeks away, Gary.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts.
Yeah.
That's nuts. I'm sad because you said 2 weeks, and for a second I got really excited. But it's 2 weeks from when this airs, not 2 weeks from when we're recording.
I know, right?
So I'm not to shatter your illusion too much, but and don't listen to this without listening to the previous episode. Even if you listen to the rest of the show, that'd be dumb.
Yeah.
So you should really be listening to these in order.
Oh yeah, they're numbered for your convenience.
Yeah, yeah. That's the organization system we've chosen.
Numbers.
We decided not to alphabetize them. We decided to number them to make it easy.
Well, I guess Kingsfield would still come last, though.
That's true. That's true. But you're right. Even though Berserk would have come first.
Well, yeah, it did. It came 30 years before all this.
Well, I mean, in the episodes.
Yeah, I know.
It could have been like, it would have been like a undead asylum, you know. Boy, is that a firelink shrine. Come on to the undead burg. You know.
D is
damn
for
that
dragons.
undead parish. I'm just gonna.
You just keep going until I stop you. But here's the trick:
I
never stop you. Fuck it, sends.
Yeah.
Gee, I really like
Blighttown?
Blighttown. God, man.
That would become next. So
yeah.
That's where it all comes crashing down.
Yeah, I guess. Goddamn Blighttown. I mean,
goddamn Blighttown.
That's pretty prosaic, though. I would like to workshop that. But yeah, we're continuing our discussion of Kingsfield 4. We had a bunch of generalities and kind of an introduction to the game, so this is the 201 version.
Yep, we're hitting the ground running.
Yeah, we are.
At the Silver Gate.
At the Silver Gate, which is my favorite Yes album.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we passed the security measures, both the Guardians and the gigantic wall of arrows. And we're kind of in this weird little... So the pacing of these tower areas is kind of strange to me, which is like it's vaguely elemental themed area interspersed with like just tunnels and crypts. And it's pretty cool here because you're fighting what looks like xenomorphs, but they're actually elementals according to the strategy guide.
They have elemental powers, which comes in later, which is very odd, but they are definitely like Giger aliens. And I was really surprised when the first one popped up. Like, oh, okay.
It's not that I don't like it.
Why did they make their way into... Because we played Fallout 2 for Watch Out for Fireballs, and they're just straight up xenomorphs in that for some reason, too. They just get around, man. Huh. I mean, it's fine, and they fight a little differently, too. Mm-hmm. So, like, fighting a bipedal human in this game is very different than fighting a beast. They have a kind of leaping attacks, they do more magic. Mm-hmm. They're trickier, and they fight in bigger groups.
Yeah. And in this area, more so than any area before, like, it kind of was a factor in the mines, but not as much here. Like, darkness. Like, they could be around any corner. And this is probably the most, areas with these guys, specifically with the dark, are the most, like, horror element kind of places in the game, I think. Yeah.
Yep. So we're only kind of, like, cruising through this place. This will not be too much, because we're on our way to the forest, which is one of the most, like, early kind of plot significant, areas that you're going to get to. Like, this is a cultural center for one of the precursor races. Yeah, you're going to run into this holy forest here.
Yeah. So, like, this is the area for the forest dwellers, except there's only one of them left. And there's a lot of significance applied to the forest because they say, like, this whole thing used to be much bigger, and this was, like, the holy land that was. Like, light begat this place.
Mm-hmm. And it is still kind of pretty. Like, it is, downright cheery looking. For it. And it operates as a hub in a weird way. The tower is the obvious hub, but the 4 chests that are here and that mana potion that is next to this lady, I ended up going back to continuously. So
yeah, in this like, once you get Earth Heal, and I forget exactly where that happens. I think it might be in the mausoleum. Like, it's pretty quick here, but yeah, like your mana potion becomes the thing that you need to keep on top of.
Yep, blue potions over red potions.
Yep.
Until eventually you get the dual.
Yeah, I think the mana potion's red, which is a shitty thing to correct you on.
No, not in Link to the Past.
Okay,
it's not. That's what I was referring to.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, but I think that the progression goes blue water to red water to yellow water.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that there were different. Like, I guess I knew that there were blue waters. Maybe I never bottled the mana potion. I had to have, though. It's not green.
Nope.
Oh well, shit. Never mind. I was referring to Link.
You are also colorblind, so that is a shitty thing to correct you on. I apologize.
Yeah, I'm not word blind though. Like, they probably told me, not regular blind. They probably told me, like, spelled it out. So I just forgot.
I don't think they ever did.
Oh, maybe not.
So when you look at the healing potion in your inventory, it just says recovers, so and so.
Like, and just calls it a crystal vial.
Yeah.
Kind of regardless. So yeah, you're right.
Yep. But yeah, this is super useful, and this has a bunch of items that are going to be useful later, and you're going to be coming back here a lot. But as you talk to this last of the forest people, her name is Iane Vigil. Yeah, because she's keeping watch, right?
Yes, she's probably not named after somebody from the message board. So
maybe, who knows? But she's there. She tells you, that golem could probably open that door for you, but we need to give him some dew because that's what they that's what these guardians feed on. Because it's Sean White encased with layers of sediment, and if he doesn't jam some dew, he's not going to open no doors. In order to proceed, thou must do the dew.
The forest was a democracy. And then, before it fell, and that's part of the reason why it was so well loved.
Yeah, well, no, everybody was doomed.
Yeah.
I kind of got into that one sideways. But this has a save spot, and once you figure out what the markers are for, you can put a marker here, and it's really convenient. But
yeah, we'll talk about that when you start getting the keys for it. But I was just confused by it when I first saw it.
Me too.
You've received a marker at this point.
You have the red one, but you don't have a wand you don't have a wand to necessitate a marker.
So you can put the marker in the slot, which is a good idea, but you don't know why it's a good idea or why you should do it because it has no effect when you do it. Mm-hmm. And there are little pentagrams on the ground next to it too. And I was like, why? Oh, shit, I shouldn't step in that. I'll save and try it. oh, I can step in it, nothing happens. I click, I try spells, nothing happens. Well, shit, nothing, didn't make any sense. So, yeah.
But we'll get to that.
I also thought, I was convinced I'd have to fight this golem too. So I'm glad I don't.
Yeah.
Instead, though, you have to go to these little tunnels full of like Sonics.
Yeah. Or did they cast spells? I forget.
No, I don't think so. I think they're just quick.
Damn it! I was hoping that they did cast spells because I would say they got to go blast.
Yeah. No, well, they go fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got to go fast. They're regular. They're not magic Sonics. This is one of the few places in the game where enemies spawn in an unlimited fashion.
Right.
So it's not actually a bad place to level up if you want to do that. Like there's a later area that is like the pro click place to level up, but this is not bad if you want to do that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool because you're in these kind of tunnels, and it's very much kind of a Demon Ruins, Izalith kind of sense.
Yeah.
Where they have these roots that are overtaking everything, which is a nice aesthetic thing because plants are scary.
Your journal is really confusing here because it says, it talks about the golems, and it says it's difficult to collect food for them due to the presence of the dark folk.
Yeah.
Which, like, are these hedgehogs the dark folk?
So I think
that's amazing if that were true. I don't think it is true, but that would be incredible. Like just a ravaging band of hedgehogs.
In transcribing the journals, from the screen and seeing the many different tenses and, parts of speech that the Dark Ones were used as, I really think that when they were writing those, they just figured every enemy was a Dark One.
Yeah, that's the presence of monsters. Even though there are some things that contradict it, like there's parts where some of the old cultures are doing things to prepare for monsters before the Dark Ones were unleashed.
Right.
Like they refer to monsters as well, but I think you're right. It's just sloppy construction.
Yeah.
So.
And maybe after all the golems had gone away, the Dark Ones had abandoned this and left it to go to seed, right? So
yeah, or they didn't want to deal with the hedgehogs.
Yeah,
like the conquering race of these cute little nuggets.
Yeah.
So when you do the the golem will open this mausoleum, which is a cool, plot relevant, and really cool, neatly designed, and an area you'll also be returning to.
Yeah.
From time to time.
So it's very much kind of like an end game return to something from the beginning kind of sense.
Mm-hmm.
So it benefits to kind of learn from the geometry of this place.
Yeah. And it has a couple of my favorite set pieces in the game are in this area. Actually, several of them. So I really like this area.
Yeah.
Quite a bit.
It's not just another place with skeletons.
Yeah. Even though there are lots of
problem.
skeletons.
Yeah.
And one of the set pieces I love is full of skeletons.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah. Oh, there's also animated armor, which I get behind.
I can get, yep. I can get behind an animated armor, and they're tough too. Mm-hmm. Because fighting more than one of them at once is very difficult because they hit very hard.
Yeah. And they spawn really slowly. So by the time you realize that you have a couple of them on you, it's way too late.
Yep.
Yeah, or they don't spawn slowly, but they come to life slowly. So you get down the middle of this hallway before you realize you have like 5 or 6 of them.
Well, to be fair, when I saw the armors, I was like, well, those are going to come to life.
Oh, yeah.
So I was trying to bait them out, but they trigger at an inconvenient spot.
Yeah. So, you get down here, and you're searching for the Holy Crest, right, which will... oh, my gosh, I forget what it does. I don't even know.
Gets you to another area.
Yeah, it does. It's a key.
I don't... There's a lot of just key items.
Yeah.
In the game, which I don't... And none of them have that awesome Metroid dual utility. Like this opens up an area and I can use it as something.
Yeah.
Which is something I really appreciate.
The closest they get to that is that some of the keys, so like the Earthful key, the Forestful key, open up treasure rooms. So if you remember that there's a door back there, so that's a little Metroidy, but it's not like they're giving you utility along with the ability to get to new areas. Right.
Right. They do that with the fire spell, but that's really the only time they do it.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So.
But a lot of the actions that on the first floor here. So like this is where the throne room is later, but you're not able to get to that yet. There's a door that you can go to for like the Passage of Light, which is
I fucking love the Passage of Light.
Me too, but it's not time yet.
It is we'll talk about that later. But God, do I love it?
Yep,
it's so weird. So it's so weird.
Yeah. There's the Room of 5 Wands with the eye wall puzzle.
Yeah. Yeah, it was super creepy. Mm-hmm. Like these eyes just kind of so you have to it's like you destroy or shut that eye so it doesn't see you go into a room and create this like crushing ceiling puzzle. Mm-hmm. that comes down on you, which is, real fun. Like the kind of animate masonry that starts showing up in this game is really cool. Is this also, is this the area where there's the corpses hanging from the ceiling in that one room?
Maybe
it is.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a spell you get in a room. There are corpses hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah, you have to, and there's like one big mass at the center that you have to fireball down.
Yeah,
yeah,
and it's super spooky. Like it's just this is a part where there's like, oh, this game is actually kind of scary at parts, and just I love seeing that this culture from this like amazing culture kind of brought low to this kind of ruin, which is a real soulsy kind of thing. I really like to see. So,
like, what's notable is we've seen more homes for dead people than like places anybody could inhabit.
Yeah, we've seen one village.
Yep, that was razed to the ground.
Yeah, one of the houses is lousy with ant, and then, but there's just all kinds of places to inter the dead. And that's going to continue to be true. The like what to do with your dead is kind of a continuing theme. Like even when you start getting to the other areas, like they oftentimes have a graveyard. Like death is a constant presence.
Yeah.
Here. Yep. So speaking just real quick, because, not for really due diligence, but just because I liked it. In the last area, there was that, the guy who lives in the church. Did you run into him? I feel like it's optional.
Oh yeah. It's pretty optional. Like all the stuff that brings you up on the other side of that bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
but I love that encounter where like he is walled off from his loved ones because the graveyard is lousy with skeletons. And you go to clear the path for him and so you kill all the skeletons. And when you go back, a skeleton has gotten in and killed him anyway.
Yep.
And there's nothing you can do to save him other than just not talk to him. But again, just like everything ends poorly for everyone. Yep. It's like super, super bleak. I just want to see my loved ones one last time. Well, I'll try to help you. Nope. Just by talking to me.
You shouldn't have wanted things.
DARPA chief me. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
But yeah, graveyards. That's a big theme here.
Definitely. So the reward for the eye puzzle is that you get the wands, which kind of apply later. Let's talk about those when we do the leap of faith that you have to do with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But
which I really like. Yeah. I was really excited when that happened. But I'm more excited by this next big chamber.
Yeah. So you go down to the bottom, and it's a big room. That has a bunch of like mausoleum, like individual casket kind of thing, chambers. But there's a skeleton who rings a gong, and it wakes all of them up. Yep,
and they're primarily archers, so it's very difficult. Like you might be able to actually fight your way out of this, but I've never done it.
Right.
The correct way to do this, and I was very proud of myself when I figured this out, is to shoot the bell yourself with an arrow, and you can ring the bell again and put them all back to sleep.
Right.
So it's a cool little, like, it's a puzzle like that actually has, an effect. It's not just like a gate.
Yeah.
You're making something easier for yourself.
It lets you outsmart the problem.
Yep. Very cool.
Yeah. But the key here is that holy crest that gets you out of here is way in the back. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's a shady merchant down towards the bottom of this. I think he sells you another wand, possibly. Although that might come later. It's nice to find a merchant that isn't all the way back at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, they're spread out all right, but then when you do have to backtrack to them, remembering where they're at is kind of a pain. So.
And by your second or third merchant, like even with this guy, you could probably sell enough weapons and armor for money to not be an object at this point.
Yeah. You're more limited by your inventory size. Like the fact that I can only have 99 herbs is more limiting to me than my money. Or 99 arrows was a bigger thing for me.
Yeah. Yeah, but so let's talk about wands and markers and fast travel, because this is a really neat concept. To put it shortly, markers let you bookmark an area. So you can say, like in these areas that are usually along with save points, there's a statue that you can put a colored stone in, and then when you use that corresponding colored wand, it takes you back there. So there are places where it makes a lot of sense to put a marker down, and it kind of lets you leapfrog from one area to the other by using this wand inside the pentagrams that are on the floor in order to set stuff up. And that is kind of the warping from bonfires aspect of the game.
Yeah, and you get it roughly like a little bit closer than halfway through, but they similar to bonfires, they hide it behind a lot of content.
Yeah.
In the game. It is very neat. I like how customizable it is. I would kind of set up what is almost like a trade route to go back to this the fountain in the forest to get mana potion,
Yeah.
and then back to and then I could visit this merchant down here, and then the one closest to the merchant that would sell arrows, and then back wherever I was eventually, like once I had the capacity to do it. And
you eventually get 5 of them.
Yeah, which is pretty generous.
Yeah.
And you won't really need, like 5 will get you everywhere you need to go. You don't need any more than that at all.
It's not permanent either. So
yeah, exactly. You can remove them. And I love the way that it marks the progress. So you have to use these to continue. Yeah. You have a marker, but you don't have the appropriate wand for it. You do have a wand. Well, I found a marker in a stone. What happens if I use it? And that's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, you have no idea where you're at, really. Like, the architecture is familiar, and you're not actually that far. Like, you are connected to some areas that you've been near, but it's not immediately obvious.
Really, where you're at is just on the other side of that floor of the tower.
Yeah.
But yeah, you totally feel like you're in this alien land. Not the least of which because you have a lot of aliens around you. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So super cool.
Yeah.
So you end up in this area. You can head off towards the right, and there is the Craftsman's Workshop, which is a frustrating, useless area.
Yep.
Like, I got really annoyed by this. Because I was like, okay, I know that my weapons are degrading. At some point, I'm going to run into a blacksmith and start working on this, or be able to do it. And that is true, but it doesn't happen with the Craftsman. You just run into a disembodied voice here.
Yeah.
Who talks about kind of the ancients and the Dark One, gives you a little bit of plot stuff, but he's not useful to you. Like, there's a couple treasure chests here, but there's really nothing else you can do.
Like, maybe you get a spell, but there are so many of those that, yeah.
Or a weapon or something like that. There's like a little trap. It's such a small little area, and it's just like, well, shit. I thought this was going to be like, oh, this is my first like major shop, or this is going to be something empowering or useful, and it wasn't at all.
Which, like, from a cultural standpoint, like, it just says that, different areas in this tower, different parts of the city were wards for these different, kinds of people who serve different functions, right? But, like, that serves no purpose to you in a game that has so little context to it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And this area is so small. Like, there's nothing about this that, like, screams craftsman.
Nope.
Except for the fact that there's, like, a forge right there.
But you can relight.
Yeah.
I forget what that does, but you can do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you can come back and then Archangelus speaks again, but it's never fully useful, right?
He never comes to life, which is what I thought was going to happen. Like, he's trapped or something like that. Nothing. Even when you free like a blacksmith at some point, he doesn't come here.
Right.
So, yeah.
Blah. But the important part of making that leap of faith through the wands is to get to the other side of the tower and put down another gate, which gives you access to the Earthfolk area. Yeah. Yeah,
the Earthfolk, which are real creepy little troglodytes.
Yep.
Like, you're maybe expecting cute fantasy dwarves, and they are not.
No. The dwarves did exist, but like what you're seeing are like these weird remnants who have kind of taken over their burrow holes, right?
Yep. Really hedgehogged them. So.
Yeah. It's a real confusing area. So it's set up like a beehive almost with the different like cubbies and stuff. It's cool how you have to like cross this weird bridge with the wyverns behind you, but the actual area itself kind of feels like a hub in almost the most literal sense, in that there's just a central area with a bunch of useless stuff off the side of it.
There's a really, really good sword that's hidden here.
Yeah.
There's like a little path you can go off of, and I can't remember which sword it is, but it's the sword I used for a long time.
You know why I'm frustrated? Because getting to the save point here required you to do some like weird leaps of faith, like actually jumping from one path to the other.
It's not immediate for you, which would make sense. It's not that noteworthy of an area. They do have those big creepy flowers, or different big creepy flowers. But again, flowers are creepy in general.
Reminded me of the pod flowers from Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's very close.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate.
But the real meat of this area is where the Earthfolk and the dwarves presumably worked, which was the refinery.
Yeah. This is a big, long, puzzly stretch of game. Like, I remember feeling, spending a lot of time here as well. Like, this felt very, very long.
Yeah.
So
this was, this was the real Kingsfield starts here moment.
Yeah.
But yeah,
huge, big difficulty spike here.
Definitely.
Primarily because this area is frozen over, which I love. I love how different it is. Like it's it's a nice environmental change. But the enemies you fight here, you fight ice pill bugs. No problem. I fought pill bugs. But these ice golems,
which do the most awesomely animated kung fu moves at you.
Yeah, they like you said on Facebook.
They do karate like Mac from Sunny.
Yeah. Yep. And that's exactly what they look like.
Yeah.
But they hit like a goddamn motherfucker.
Yes, they
and
do.
They're fast, and you fight them in groups, and they shoot spells at you that will freeze you, that are scatter, like area effect kind of shotguns of ice.
It looks like you would be able to get into the gaps between them, but you never will.
Yeah, you're too thick. Yeah, so these things are really hard. Like I usually end up beating them by kind of spamming spells.
Yeah.
Or cheesing them with a door. But they're very difficult.
Yeah.
So.
And like you are going to be spending a lot of time in this area because it's effectively 3 areas in one. So like a key card in Metal Gear Solid, or like any given stage in Metroid Prime, it changes state depending on the temperature. And so like it very much is, instead of being stacked on top of something else physically, it's stacked on top of something else almost temporally, right? Yeah.
So you work your way through this frozen area, and it's the other thing too is your visibility goes to 0.
Yeah,
like the ice fog, so it's so easy to get fucking lost in here.
And it restricts the color palette too, so there's less visible. There are fewer visible landmarks for you to attach significance to, right?
Yeah, it's very confusing for me. Like I probably I spent a long time here, but you're trying to get through here just to get to the fire caverns, which are the opposite. And it's full of sweet dragons.
Yeah. Well, sweet. They look kind of like Godzilla suits.
Yeah, they're a little dumpy. They look like dragons that Merlin's apprentice would turn into in like Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of dumpy Disney dragons. But still dragons.
Yeah. And they'll breathe fire on you. They'll still fuck your shit, right?
Yeah. I found these guys a lot easier than the ice golems, but the difficulty spike is still kind of there. Like we're still in higher level. Kind of challenge.
Yeah, and what you're working your way towards in this first run into the fire caverns is kind of this big fat Efreet kind of thing that is blocking some of the. You get the sense that he's blocking some of the lava from the refinery area, right?
Yeah, just with his body.
Yep.
Like he is just like jammed. Oh shit, he got jammed in there. Like somebody needs to come along with a broom and just sweep him out. Like. He is just blocking the hole with his chub.
Yeah.
He shoots little fire goos at you.
Kind of a fun fight, I think. Like just in terms of like what you see, it's less attrition and more like trying to manage a crowd, which is
He's constantly creating kind of a mob. Around him, so you need to concentrate on being able to kill him. As well as and you have the light spell at this point, which was the spell I ended up using the most.
Flash.
Yeah. So Flash, is very useful for this. It pierces. It's like a really good spell that pierces, or it kind of, when it hits something, it kind of explodes and will hit things near it.
Right.
Which is good for these crowds.
Yeah.
And that's how I end up taking this guy out.
Yeah.
So.
Pretty fun fight in terms of, Kingsfield boss fights. And what this does is it changes the refinery by putting way too much lava.
Yep. It's one way or the other.
Yep.
Like somebody needs to pour this bowl of hot porridge into this bowl of cold porridge.
Yeah, no, a little bit too much salt water. You got to keep Pinchy.
Pinchy dies no matter what.
Yeah,
Kingsfield. It's a tragic end for everybody.
Yeah.
And this is kind of a weird boss rush. You're just like fighting bosses here.
Yeah, left and right.
Like 8 hours before the first one, and then another couple hours, and then 3 of them in a row,
and then nothing but boss fights until credits.
Yeah, and then tons of boss fights.
Yeah.
Because when you go back to the ice area, you've seen a couple frozen people, a frozen regular sized dwarf and a frozen giant dwarf.
Yeah. And this is the king of the Earth folk who, in the journal it says like for pretty much no reason, he just decided to freeze all of it, to burn and then freeze all of his people. And then himself. So
was he? So do you think? So let's do some classic bonfire side chat.
Oh boy,
shell of our ass. Like so, I referenced it earlier, and I honestly forgot. It wasn't me trying to be oblique about it. I feel like those little bug things never come up again, like those little soldier bugs. Is that true, or am I forgetting something? Because could that be the reason why this guy went insane and why the forest prince went insane and opened up the dark?
So there are two possibilities behind that, which is it did stop, or I stopped taking notice of it. Okay. Yeah.
You definitely, like, I feel like when you kill, I mean, it might just be you're no longer fighting humans.
Right.
So that's what the bugs, that's where they live. But there is like a theming of insanity, like rulers kind of going insane in this game. And we've met with a tiny bug creature that can crawl into things' heads and drive them insane.
Yeah.
So it doesn't seem like too big of a stretch to think those might be related. Like, I wonder if those are the dark ones.
Oh. Huh. I can see that because there's no real motivation given for the prince to open up.
Yeah, to open up the seal or whatever.
Right.
So like maybe that's what it is, and that ties in with that theme of corruption. Like it's not just like a monster you're fighting. And when you actually get to the end, which we haven't talked about yet, it is like a big creepy organic, trippy hellscape pretty much that could that is kind of insectoid. Mm-hmm. In nature, like it looks a little bit like an insect warren.
Oh, so it's like a very literal physical corruption. It's not like it's tempting them with evil. It's like that actually gets
it could be a metaphor with that, but it actually is something like this is a thing taking over you and kind of driving you mad.
It's like the Yerks from Animorphs.
Or I don't know that one. I'll take your word for it, buddy. Okay. The Yerks?
Yeah. Yeerks. They were slugs that crawled into people's brains and basically assimilated them. So they would continue acting like they were part of the leadership, right? So they would they would go after high profile targets, but they would be serving the Yerk Imperium. And that's what the Animorphs were fighting against. Holy shit, I did come of age in like 1999 through 2001. So yeah. I did read those. Like that was the young adult novel of my time. So, yep. Don't worry.
They're probably Yerks. You're probably right. It's probably an Animorphs crossover. Yeah, when we eventually get to the Animorphs chapter of Bonfireside Chat, that'll come first in the.
No, that wasn't an endorsement. I enjoyed my time with Animorphs.
No, I'm not.
Okay,
not
cool.
necessarily.
Don't judge me, Gary. Come on.
I don't know anything about Animorphs. It's a funny name to me.
Yeah.
And there's that Photoshop of the guy turning into the red peanut, the red M&M peanut man, which is one of my favorite images.
Yep.
So.
Please tell me that's going to be in the show notes.
Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite things. I'll put that image anywhere. Cool.
Yeah, but
no. So maybe that's what's going on.
That's as plausible as anything. I mean, like it very much could be. Like the only other thing that I could say would be like that it is a conspiracy against it. So like like the Earth folk are different than the forest folk, and that this guy. Saw that there was dissent from within and saw the opportunity for power, but that could totally be motivated by brain bugs. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards brain bugs at this point. Like somebody who has a better idea or knows something that contradicts that, write in.
Yeah. And there's probably something in the first 3 games that like talks about the way that demons influence people. But again, if it's demon influence, that could just be how they do it.
There might be, but even though the first 3 games are like explicitly disconnected from these, so they don't share references other than the Moonlight Sword.
Okay.
And the first 3 games are about Seath and like another gigantic dragon fighting. Okay. Like they're real weird.
Okay.
So. Anyway, so you fight him because he's got brain bug probably.
He's got brain bugs. Let's roll with it. Yeah, it's a pretty fun fight, just because this does feel more like a duel than some of the other ones were. Mm-hmm. At least to my memory. Yeah,
you're in a big empty room, and he attacks. He hurts really, really bad, but he attacks relatively slowly. So you're constantly trying to get on his side or back up enough to dodge his attacks.
Right.
Which you don't do a lot of dodging in this game.
Right.
So it is a fun fight. He's also like there's no boss arenas or fog walls or anything like that. So you can fight him that way. You can also get him kind of tripped on the door. Like most bosses, you can open the door, hit them, and then close the door. Mm-hmm. If you want to, and that will do it. Like they all have non-standard cheesing ways of killing them. Not all of them, but most of them. And this guy I fought legit, but the next guy I did not.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. But yeah, you kill him, and then you get the icon of ice, which is how you kind of even things out. But yeah, additionally, it wasn't just the mean dwarfs; it was the nice dwarfs too.
Yep.
Harmura Forge Fist.
Yeah.
So I only ever
Forge Fist is cool.
Yep.
That part sounds cool.
I only ever learned these names after the fact, like when I was putting the notes together. So it's hard for me to attach these to people, but I feel that in the interest of specificity, I think we have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in the interest that there's something more to it than we're picking up.
Yeah, true.
But this is the blacksmith.
Is it?
That is he? Did you run into the blacksmith?
No, I never did.
Oh, neither did I. There is a blacksmith. I think it is this guy.
Okay.
But I couldn't find him.
Right.
He goes back to the Earth folk. There's an area in the Earth folks. No, he's not the blacksmith. He is just the guy who goes back. He's next to a chest hammering. Right. There is a blacksmith. I know it from Game Facts. I didn't go back and repair my equipment before the end of the game because it takes they traffic in time.
Oh.
So you lose the equipment for a while and then you have to walk around.
Oh my god.
And like by the time I got to the end of this game, I was nope. Like I'm enjoying this, but I don't need to do that.
Well, by the time you get to the end of this game, you have Muse armor and you're done.
Well, I didn't even have Muse armor. I just had the Moonlight Sword and the fact that the end boss is not actually like a combat encounter, really.
Okay.
So I was able to cruise through that way.
Yeah.
Like the end boss of this is the Dragon God. So, and not quite, but it isn't a fight,
right.
Really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
yeah.
But there is a blacksmith. We don't know where he is.
Nope.
Neither of us met him. I assumed you had, but.
No. Like I'd write oblique references. I mean, like up to this point, you're picking up Earthstones, which talk about durability.
Yeah.
I never found the need for it because durability, it affects your item's performance, just like in any number of RPGs, Dark Souls included. But you're switching items so much,
and you're getting so many of them.
Yeah.
Like, my cool, fire elemental sword is damaged. Well, I'll just switch to my wind, my water, my ice, or my light elemental sword. Yeah, my heart elemental sword. I'll just switch to any number of these, because at this point, especially the Forge is really when it starts happening, where you are just getting spoiled.
Yeah.
As far as equipment goes, it's just flowing.
You're spoiled for spoils. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So I thought kind of in the back of my head that maybe he went someplace and took up the role of the blacksmith, but no. Please correct us.
Yeah, I think I read
contact.
Yeah, tell us if it's useful too. I think he's in the Earthfolk Warrens. I think is where he goes, but I never went back there to re-explore. There's very little reason other than a couple of those chests to go back and retread areas.
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but you get this icon of ice, and you're backtracking back to the fire cavern in order to go to this kind of control room-esque structure that overlooks the entire fire cavern, and place the icon of ice in order to A, mellow out the refinery, but B, create this totally not obvious path to the fire demon.
Yep.
Yeah.
To fight what I think is probably this is the only boss fight in the game I couldn't legitimately beat.
Yeah.
I ended up cheesing. Yeah. I kept dying to him, and I got real good at the Dark Souls run from the save point without having to fight every little thing.
Yeah.
So I would speed run to him so I could just give it lots of tries, but he just, did too much damage to me to kill him. Maybe I hadn't leveled up my fire resistance as much as you had, because if you were using it before you did barrels, it's possible that yours was second level, and I know that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure my fire shield was only first level, but
right. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with him, but mostly because of the arena. He would knock me off because of that. For what I now know is the stun locking thing.
Yeah.
I would just find myself backed into a ledge.
Yep. Yeah, and that's instant death. There's no handrails.
Yeah.
You can do what I did, which was stand at the doorway and just shoot them with arrows.
Oh.
And it's not like it doesn't take that long. It's 30 or 40 arrows and it'll do it.
Okay.
So
I found myself I was using the second level ice attack spell, which through the big hunk of ice at him. And then I would do that until it became inconvenient to do that. And then I went up and finished him off with my hand-to-hand weapon.
Yeah, he may not be objectively the hardest boss in the game, but I had a real hard time with him.
He's real hard. I died 5 or 6 times. So yeah.
He's a son of a bitch.
One thing of note, he's dude-sized. He's a dude-sized boss. Until you get to the end where you're actually just inside the boss enemy.
Yeah.
None of the bosses are that big, so they don't play with scale like the Souls games do.
No. And this guy has that, and oftentimes since they're dude sides, they're usually quick as well.
Yeah.
Which like they have a turning radius, or like, you know, or they can turn around, which you can't, which just makes like having something really quick and that is moving around you really difficult when you turn so slowly to face the threat. So it kind of requires a spatial awareness that is difficult for first person games, where you don't really have the option to turn and put this thing in your field of view. And you don't necessarily want to put it in your field of view. You just want to get away, but you have to kind of memorize where he might be on the screen while repositioning yourself. Yeah. And if you're wrong, like he can fuck you over. Yeah. So.
Yep. But beating him, I forget if he gives you anything for it. Like there's a fire spell that you get, and there's some armor that is not that useful because putting it on keeps you from being able to use ice spells. Like that's one of the trade-offs that the elemental armors end up making you make. But you're just like, why can't I cast the spell? Oh, because I'm wearing this thing because it has the best stats. Yeah. Well, shit.
You just have to figure it out too. It doesn't tell you that. You're just cramming on the spell button and just nothing happens.
Yeah. But it also mellows out the refinery, so there's some things you can do. Did you get the black scar?
Yeah, the weapon, the sword that's floating in the pool of lava.
Yeah, the Excalibur. So
yeah, in the pool of lava. Which there's no trick to it. You just have to get in there real quick and get out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's not a bad weapon. I ended up using it.
I used it for a good long while until something better came along. But the
tsunami.
Like the tsunami.
Tsunami's great.
Maybe because that's in the next area. But
but like the tsunami rules like them.
Yeah, but like the refractory period on this was so short. So yeah. Also, the grossest way to describe how long a weapon would be effective.
Yeah, it's not really. The grossest and most questionably accurate. Like
kind of
refractory period.
Just like the time between when you get your sword, when you unsheath your sword, right?
Yeah, and we can unsheath it again.
Yep. Oh man. But the moral is the Earthfolk area. segue.
You get to it, and you get a bridge key and another kind of key.
Yeah.
Of some kind. Again, we're going to lose that stuff, but you head back to the tower.
Yeah.
Because we're going to go to another floor of the tower.
Yes, we are.
In the next episode.
Bum, bum, bum. What are we doing next time?
Next time, we are going to find out what happened of the Helidon expedition and learn what the Widda are. And I love the Widda. The Widda are the closest thing in this game to like a culture that you fully explore. Like you spend more time in Widda architecture and culture than any other thing.
Right.
And they're real creepy and they're fun fights and I really like them.
Yeah.
So I think the seaside tower or whatever is probably my favorite area in the game.
Oh yeah.
As far as just kind of like soulsiness and stuff. So it's a real proto-sense fortress.
For sure.
So this being a weirdo episode, we're going to be doing our responses and miscellaneary kind of in the middle since there isn't really a wrap-up episode. So we're going to read the responses we have so far. We still encourage you to send them our way, Duckfeed.tv/contact.
Yeah, we'll have
some miscellaneary about... I'm sorry, cut you off.
I'm sorry, we'll have another one of these, so don't worry.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And if you have things to say about Kingsfield while we're talking about Dark Souls 2, we'll read it.
Yeah.
Fuck it. If you have things to say about Dark Souls now, we'll read it, as you'll see in a moment.
Yeah.
So why don't you get us started off with Trent?
Yes. So Trent says via the contact form, Duckfeed.tv/contact, I'm really excited that you guys are planning on talking about the game. Sorry, this was from a while ago, so I didn't edit out the planning. After playing the game for a few hours, I definitely realized some huge similarities between Kingsfield 4 and the Souls series, namely Dark Souls. The evolution of the Souls series from the Kingsfield games is very interesting when compared to the evolution of the Elder Scrolls series. The first few Kingsfield games were very similar to the Elder Scrolls Arena and the Elder Scrolls Daggerfall. Both of these series were very lonely, slow, and deliberate RPG adventure games. However, they veered off into two directions completely, with the Elder Scrolls series focusing heavily on world building, intertwining lore, and a huge scale, and the Souls series focusing on perfecting the mechanics and the atmosphere of the Kingsfield series. Also, did anyone else jump into the well in the town square? It gave me a good laugh when I died, considering that I did the same thing in Dark Souls. What is with the well? What is with wells being tricks in FromSoft when FromSoft is involved?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting point.
Yeah.
About the Elder Scrolls and Kingsfield.
Yeah, because where they landed is so different from where they began. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the Elder Scrolls games.
Mm-hmm.
I will play, I ended up playing through them, once when they come out. Like, I was excited to play Skyrim. I played through it once. It was fun. But it is very interesting what kind of things are, like this concentrating on kind of core gameplay and esoteric, deeper appeal, is the kind of reason, is the reason why we're not doing like our Elder Scrolls cast right now. Like, I know those games, like there is a lot of lore to it and some of it is interesting, but it's not like them kind of concentrating on that, really just kind of like the bigness and the direct world building is just a lot less interesting to me than kind of this other path.
I love drawing conclusions from the vaguest hint of maybe a trend or pattern, as we've seen, and like Dark Souls says, hey, maybe the way this stuff is arranged says something about these people, whereas in Elder Scrolls, which is fine, I enjoy reading a thing about people, but like the Elder Scrolls comes out and says like the character sheet for this race or for this, so and so. And there's a place for both of them, but I think that, that the Dark Souls one has more room for conversation around it.
Yeah. Yep. I totally agree.
Yeah. I feel we need to add on to Gary's thing, saying I like the Elder Scrolls too. The Elder Scrolls as well. I've never played Daggerfall. Oblivion's Skyrim. I really, really love the Shivering Isles expansion for Oblivion, which is one of the best kind of standalone expansions I've ever played, really, I think. But yeah, it's not like Eastern game is better than Western. I'm not saying that.
No. And typically, I think the opposite of that.
Me too.
This is a weird exception for me. Like, I'm usually like a sneering Westernist when it comes to games. But I like them too. Even though I've never played the earlier ones, but knowing that maybe they are a little Kingsfieldy, and I never really thought about that. I've been trying to hunt down Kingsfield experiences. Yeah. Played a little bit of Ultima Online or Ultima Underground.
Right.
And stuff like that. I'm trying to get that feel. So maybe I'll go a little bit further back, and maybe they'll be a little bit more oblique then as well. Yeah. Like they would almost have to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we have some kind of miscellaneary that we're going to talk about that was suggested to us by various people.
Yeah.
They're just kind of notes, and we don't have tons to say on them, but we just want to touch on them.
Yeah.
So one, I think that we got all the way through Dark Souls, Bonfireside Chat Season 1 without talking about vagrants.
I want to say that we brought them up like obliquely or like kind of in the margins, but we never fully addressed them because I don't know that there is a wide understanding of how they work even still today. Although there are people like Illusory Wall who are doing God's work by trying to figure out what the fuck From put into that.
Hellkite Drake, using some of the data from Illusory Wall, just put up a really good video that explains the mechanics of vagrants.
Okay.
It's really great. I can't recommend it enough. It's not like he doesn't have the same kind of it's not lore based. It's all mechanical. So it is, but it's really well produced and really interesting information.
Yeah.
I can't think of a lore reason for vagrants other than just worlds colliding and interconnecting.
Yeah. No,
so enforcing that idea that like what happens in one world impacts another.
Yeah. Well, no, Power Man 5000 warned us, Gary.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I just love the idea of these interdimensional time crabs. Aesthetically, it can just be real fun.
You've run into them, right?
Oh, never in
or
the
at least
game,
one?
no.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I have one, and it's on camera. It's in the Let's Play I did of my Faith build when I was trying to sequence break and get down to get Rhea early. So, like, as soon as you could get Rhea, I was trying to go down to the catacombs blind to go fight those guys so I could get her spells because I wanted offensive miracles because miracles are shit. And, had tons of souls, lost them, and was super frustrating. And it was going down to go fight, Nito and Vince or Nico and Vince, and got shot in the back by something, and I had no idea what it was. And it killed me, like it one-shotted me. And then turned around, switched the camera around, and there was an evil vagrant there because I had lost a bunch of souls.
Did you know what it was?
Them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'd heard of them and stuff. Yeah. That was the first one I've seen. I've seen another one since then, actually. But it feels like Christmas. You run into a vagrant. Like, it's just so rare, and just like standing there blocking them and letting them just attack you and seeing their attacks and everything. Yep. Is super fun.
Yeah. And what's great.
Did you run into a drift item? Or go ahead.
I believe I did run into a drift item, and I made the mistake of picking one up. So, I know that you're not.
It's a weird thing. Like,
if you want the vagrants to spawn, you don't pick up drift items.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. But you wouldn't know. Like, I'm just
pick definitely. Up a thing. But I kind of, that's the point I was going to make, which is that as these mechanics are better understood, there's going to be like this etiquette that revolves around like, okay, if we all kind of pitch in and understand this a little bit better, there will be more vagrants for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do your part.
Do your part. Don't pick up that bag. Don't nab that bag. There we go.
Yeah, and if you're gonna warp back to a bonfire, drop something.
Oh yeah,
if you have it. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
certain items like prism stones and purge stones and
so like stuff that would be considered precious by like the base economies of the game, but not really once you get to a time where you're concerned about vagrants, are what you can drop, right? To make them spawn.
Yeah, there's a specific item you can find out there, or a list. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they're pretty neat. I don't have a lore explanation for them, but they're cool.
Yeah. This is just a little bit of an offshoot of that, but you mentioned miracles are shit. Do you think that with the better co-op, like once they figure out co-op in Dark Souls 2, if they do, although I'm led to believe that it is tits, do you think that miracles will serve more of a function? Like, are they going to get miracles right this time? Like we're hoping they get dragon encounters right.
They'll make some of them will be. So like stuff like the Princess Guard, like I can heal my friends, I can regenerate my friends. That stuff will become useful.
Yeah.
Because co-op looks like it has a huge, as opposed to just, who's in the Princess Guard.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah. So I'm just curious to see as we draw closer and closer, more of these questions, more articles are popping up that I am furiously avoiding reading. Although sometimes the headlines spoil it, which is by pre-ordering it, we get access to better weapons earlier, which I feel very conflicted about.
Yeah. And you eventually will be able to get them, but
yeah. But, those first
I don't
hours,
like that either.
Crucial. Anyway.
But I wouldn't want them either, though.
Right.
Or I'm just not going to use them. Like if I start the game with a Black Knight sword, I'll drop it.
I suppose that's what I meant, yeah.
Create a drift item, hopefully. And then, or whatever the equivalent is. Yeah. God, there's going to be so many weird fucking little things we don't know anything about. It's going to be great.
I love it. So there's a correction on the Berserk stuff that you, Gary, having read further than I, are probably a better position to make.
I fucked up.
What?
Yeah, I said I fucked up.
Oh.
Yeah. So just in the last episode, or the second Berserk episode, I talked about the Wario Knight, and I mentioned how his identity had not been revealed yet. It actually has, and it's Azan, Farnese's companion, who we hadn't seen since the second eclipse, but he stands up and reveals himself in a spectacular fashion, and I just glossed over it because I'm an idiot. Mm-hmm. And so that's actually who that is, and it's not actually a mystery.
Yeah, he's been off cultivating his mustache.
Exactly, or growing the mustache on his armor. His companions still don't know that's him, but the audience does know.
Okay,
so
we call that dramatic irony.
Yeah, it sounded like you said dramatic irony.
Well, maybe possible. Strumendrang.
Yeah.
Any number of terms which might apply.
Yeah. So and then just so we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. We have a couple other little note things, but we're running into some technical difficulties. They're making it difficult to continue. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up with our admin stuff.
For sure. So thank you everybody for listening. One thing that does always help us and will continue to help us as we get into Dark Souls 2 season is iTunes ratings and reviews. If you are not averse to using iTunes, leaving us a review or a rating or liking a review that you like actually does help us rise in the ratings, puts us on what's hot, and it helps other people find out about the show. So when Dark Souls is on people's tongues, they're going to be looking for this stuff, and we're going to be right there. And just think of it as giving a thing you like to a complete stranger.
Yeah, and it also makes us feel good.
Yeah. Well,
which shouldn't be your main reason to do it, but it's true.
True.
The other thing that makes us feel good is listening to our other shows. So if you want to check out just me and Kole kind of dissecting a game very similar to this, you can check out Watch Out for Fireballs. It is a different old game every time we play. And I think at the time you hear, or every time we record, I think at the time you're hearing this, the next game we'll be doing will be A Link to the Past.
Yeah.
So fan favorite.
Which, of course, you're an everybody favorite, a human favorite.
Yeah, human favorite.
Yeah.
So you guys like that game. So definitely check out that show. You can also check out on the video game tip, The Level, which is a video game roundtable discussion with Kole and some of his buddies. They do, what you playing, kind of news and general topics. It's very good. And real quick, because we didn't mention it last episode, if you like survival horror, you should check out Hexcrank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The most recent article was about Sweet Home, and the next one coming up is about Uninvited. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Love me some Uninvited.
You should play Sweet Home.
I read the thing. It sounds like I should.
Yeah.
Yeah, did you, on the Retronauts I was on?
Yeah, I heard it.
Yeah, the thing, like
these weird co-concurrences that just keep happening.
Yep. Yeah, like that's what Capcom decided to localize instead of Sweet Home. Damn them.
Such a weird choice. But yeah, Hexcrank. It's just it's me writing way too long articles about the games that I love, which are survival horror games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely worth your time.
Yeah. Also worth your time is check it out, Comrade, which is your guide to the indie games you ought to be playing.
Yeah.
So spoiler free, at least for the first part, and it's Gary and Nick Glauber, also of the network, and occasional guest on Fireside Chat, walking through an indie game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not just kind of like touching on it.
Yeah, not walking through it, but like telling you why you should check it out, Comrade.
Yep, indeed, Comrades. Games by the people for the people. And then in addition, we do a show called Abject Suffering, which is really kind of our farking. I was trying to say farting around and dicking around, and it came out as farking around. So it's our farking around show.
Because we are noted posters on fark.com.
Yeah. This is
because it is 2003.
Yeah, because we live in the past. So we both fart and dick on this show, and we use bad games as a structure for it, but that's not actually what it's about.
Nope.
And it's about a half hour, and we both really like it.
Yeah.
So.
Mm-hmm.
Check that shit.
So it's a big, old, gigantic network, and there's plenty of content that we like it because we make it, and we hope that you like it too. So.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And Dark Souls 2 comes out real soon.
Yes, it does. If you're going to be buying Dark Souls 2, go to Duckfeed.tv/tipjar and order it through our Amazon link. We get a little kickback through that. Does not cost you anything extra, and that goes a long way towards helping us host the show. And, just making this something we can do, realistically, financially. So, yeah.
Yep. We are not men with money. We are not men of means.
Nope.
So definitely, do all those things. And then what else do they do?
What else do they do?
What other sign off do we have for the show?
Well, it's funny because last week I said watch out for brain bugs, but like we expounded upon that more. So really, brain bugs they're gonna get you.
They're pretty much gonna get you. So like if you're a dad and you're not planning to like burn down your house with your kids in it, or quit your job and sell all of your things and move into a timeshare or do something just utterly insane, a brain bug could make you do it. So if you are a local, and dads are like the smallest regents, they're little tiny kings.
Little tiny kings.
So when bugs come out, it's make way for Dark Dad.
Make way for.
I don't know where I picked. I can't remember where I picked it up. I'm not totally sure Dark Dad is original. But it's Nick's birthday today when we're recording, and I put on his wall, I said, Dark Dad's going to put you in the sad sack, birthday boy.
I saw it, and then it wasn't that exact tweet, but I saw another reference to Dark Dad.
I don't know what it is, but I don't know if like I said, I can't remember if I picked up Dark Dad somewhere, but I like the idea of Dark Dad. Yeah. And Sad Sack is an old gaming group inside joke. Okay. Putting someone in the sad sack. Dark Dad puts you in the sad sack.
Yeah, so watch out for brain bugs. Watch out for Dark Dad.
Yeah, definitely watch out for Dark Dad.
Yeah, I know.
And we all pray that we will have far more soon